guys, today I'm making a really popular brunch recipe. It's spinach and Gruyere quiches. Now, the original recipe does not call to do the step that I'm doing, but I really like to blind bake my crust, which means get the crust nice and golden brown before I add my quiche filling. That way it's crunchy and it's never soggy, and it's just a little bit, I guess, better than the original. So I'm blind baking my crust. I have a 9-inch pie plate with a pie crust in it. I've lined it with parchment, and then you fill it to the top with beans or rice, anything that will fill the pan and hold the parchment in place and hold the sides of the pie crust up while in its initial baking phase. Have your oven preheated to 375, and then what you do is you get your pie crust in there like this, bake it for about 25 to like 40 minutes. The sides need to be completely set, and then you remove this parchment and the beans and cook until the bottom is nice, light golden brown. Okay, so once your pie crust has blind baked, you want to get the filling ready. The recipe that I'm using today does make 2 quiche, but I'm only going to make 1, so I'll be dividing everything evenly. But you want to use nice spinach and get it nice and clean. You're going to want to wash it. So you can see there's like dirt on my hand. So I'm going to go wash this. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times. It depends on your spinach. And you'll know when it's clean by lifting out the leaves from the bowl. And if there's no grit on the bottom of the bowl, then your spinach is clean. Make sure that when you're washing your spinach, you lift the leaves out of the bowl of water and into another bowl, because if you pour the water out, the grit's just going to go right back into your spinach. The other thing you want for this filling is some shallots. You want to slice up some shallots. I have 3 shallots here. Guys, if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to click like and subscribe so you get every single one of the videos as they come live. The shallots need to be minced, so make sure your knife is nice and sharp, because mincing is a total nightmare if your knife isn't sharp, and it will not mince. I guarantee it, it will not be minced. I always wonder, like, do you mince? Do you chop? Do you use a food processor? Let me know in the comments below how you handle when I say something like mince. Like, what do you do? Anybody remember that time that I did that thing where I tested all the different ways to not have your eyes water when you were cutting onions? It was so long ago. If you look back at some of my first videos, I was kind of obsessed with it. And really the only thing that worked were the goggles. My shallot is minced, now I can saute. I have a tablespoon of butter in this pan. So you're going to melt your butter, add the shallots to the pan, and saute. You just want to start getting them a little bit translucent, and then cook your spinach right there with shallots. Now, if your pan's not big enough, you may need to cook your spinach in batches. We usually recommend just adding some spinach, letting it wilt down, and then adding more. It depends on the size of your pan, though. My pan seems pretty big, and I feel like most of my spinach is going to fit. If there's a little bit of water left clinging to the leaves, that's actually good, because it helps the spinach start cooking more quickly. And you're going to squeeze out all the liquid when it's cooked anyway, so it's really helpful in an instance like this to have just a little bit of water left on there. Just need to let this get wilted. I guess while I'm waiting for that to start happening, I can get my egg mixture ready. I have 8 large eggs in this bowl. I like to break them up before I start adding other liquid ingredients, because once you add like a milk or whatever, it's going to be harder to whisk, I think. To that, add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. Kosher salt, if you're using fine salt, please use a half teaspoon. And then 3 cups of half and half. You can use a combination of cream and milk, and then some nutmeg, about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I actually find that the pre-ground nutmeg is stronger in flavor than the grated nutmeg that you grate on a rasp grater. So if you're using the pre-ground, use a little bit less, like a generous pinch. This is your quiche base. You can use that base for all different kinds of quiche, not just this spinach quiche, but if you wanted to make a bacon quiche or anything really, you can make that mixture and then just add your add-ins to that. Now the spinach has wilted nicely, but you are going to want to squeeze out the liquid. So I'm just going to transfer it to a colander that's set over a bowl. You could do this over your sink if you want to. The last thing in the world that you want in your quiche is additional moisture, because that will cause your egg mixture to break and it will not be pleasant. So squeeze out as much as you can. Now the last thing to do is build your quiche and get it in the oven. My blind baked crust is nice and golden on the bottom, which you might be like, oh my gosh, it's overbaked or it's gonna burn. Once you add the liquid, it pretty much doesn't bake that much anymore. So if it's not already baked like this, it's going to be soggy. I don't like that. So this is Gruyere cheese. It's 8 ounces for 2, so 4 ounces for 1, which is just over a cup of grated Gruyere. I like to put that into the bottom first, and then half the spinach per quiche. Recipe like this is so great because you can make a couple, and it's really fun for brunches and entertaining and, you know, holidays, etc. And then I will add half of my egg mixture. I think I'm gonna put it back into the measuring cup and pour it in that way so that I don't spill it everywhere, but I'll probably spill it while I'm doing that, so maybe it'll defeat the purpose. Who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Oh my gosh, success. Also, it will help me know. This is about 4.5 cups, so I'll add about 2.25 cups for each. Have your oven preheating to 350 degrees, and you'll want to bake this until it's set on top, maybe just a tiny bit wiggly in the center. That'll take about an hour, 55 minutes to an hour. And as you can see, it's nice and golden everywhere. It's fully set and beautiful, ready to eat. You have to let it cool, but if you want to serve it warm, you can, but I recommend letting it cool completely first and then reheating it. I'm not a huge fan of warm quiche, but I know a lot of people do like that, so go ahead and do that. Serve it with a nice salad if you want to. See how nicely it lifts out of the pan? Part of the reason that it does that is because the crust is so perfectly blind baked. It's as easy as that to make a delicious quiche that everybody's gonna love, and you are gonna be really happy and proud to have made. Enjoy.